So Caleb Martin, the other guy, as has already been alluded to, he does have more of a track record of playoff production, which is to say during one long playoff run, not this past season, but year before, as the Heat went to the finals, Caleb Martin turned into Ray Allen for about a month and a half and was absolutely burning the Nets down. Has had fun torturing the Boston Celtics, which,
everyone loves that.
All our people here certainly love that.
Honestly, for his career, what do you think the over-under is on his three-point percentage?
Like his average in the playoffs?
Yeah, playoffs. Yeah.
33%.
40.1%.
I think it's 40-something.
On 162 attempts. It's wild how he goes from I shoot 34% in the regular season to lights out.
And isn't that what we're talking about? We always say 82 is the 82. But it's about those 16
He might just
wins.
Be a 16-game guy,
now, look,
right?
162 attempts isn't enough to completely erase his regular season track record. But it is wild how he's done it, too. I mean, this past year, again, was only 5 games. But that 1 year was really good.
Yeah, so my thoughts on Martin are I don't think he's as good of a one-on-one defender as Highsmith. I do think he's a solid team defender. And does that make a meaningful difference to me that Highsmith, I think, grades out as a better individual defender? A little bit. I don't think it's that important to me. That I think either of these guys works in that role, because if you get one of these guys who profiles as at least a solid man defender, at least a solid team defender, and both guys have played in a Miami team that they play a lot of zone, but they're just a tough defense in general. If you get one other defensive guy, then it doesn't become, hey, Kelly Oubre has to take the top assignment all the time, or Paul George doesn't always have to take a tough defensive assignment. You can spread those assignments out between essentially 3 different guys and feel okay about your options against them. And so if Oubre and Martin or Oubre and Highsmith are able to take the bulk of the tougher ones, like you're playing Boston and they can take Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum for stretches of games. And certainly we've seen those guys have to do that for Miami in that specific matchup. That frees Paul George up to hopefully make a bigger impact on offense. Paul George can certainly, in certain stretches of the game, if he's taking a back seat to Joel and Tyrese on offense, say, raise my hand, I want to make more of a defensive impact and step in there. But you don't have to be locked into all right, Kelly stops this guy, or we don't really have any good options. That's where you don't want to be as a team. And I know there are concerns about rebounding. And so some people are in more of a mindset of don't get another wing with this money, look for more of a power forward guy, a strong rebounder. And I'm sympathetic to those arguments. What I would say is that if you, and Derek has hammered this point all off season.
I was just thinking how I was going to bring this up. Yep.
And I agree with this, by the way. If you have good defenders, good to very good defenders from the 2 through 4 spots, and you're allowing less dribble penetration, you're freely switching across those matchups, and Joel Embiid is not having to come out high on as many possessions as he has historically, well, then he's back and can focus on, I'm going to get 12 to 14 rebounds a game. I will end those possessions myself. And while that will take a mentality from Joel and a better process from Joel that I don't think he always shows at times, that will make his life easier to be the elite rebounder that I think he's capable of if he sets his mind to it, if he's healthy, all that. And so will either of these guys really help with their rebounding individually? No. Will they help by providing a more sturdy defensive base and putting Joel or Andre Drummond in better positions? I 100% think so.
Yeah. When you start bringing up rebounding, look, would I love it if they could get a big forward who could also defend and shoot and could rebound? Yeah. I'd love to have an extra skill set.
Damn you, Washington and Portland.
Yep. 100%. 100%. Just wait a week.
Wait a week.
But the other way, if you have a chance to get a really good perimeter defender who does deny dribble penetration and is able to switch more ball screens on the perimeter, you will improve your rebounding just by keeping the big fella near the rim and able to pursue those rather than stepping out to try to close off, put out fires. So yeah, I think that's fair. Martin, I think certainly is probably like I said, He's a more known commodity. If it didn't come down to
100%.
cost at all, like if you get them both for like a 2-year deal, which way would you go? Because I think there's an argument for both.
I still go Martin. I like Martin better, personally. I understand we've just laid out a 15 minutes of why Haywood Highsmith is a good choice, but for me, I'd still lean Martin in that case.
I think I probably trust Martin a little more. I think the thing is, if I fully buy into Haywood's shot, then I think that on-ball defense and that off-ball shooting is a real interesting package, especially if you can get a discount. But we've just seen Caleb Martin do it in high-pressure situations more.
You want those numbers in that Boston series? Just looking at it?
Pretty damn good.
7-game series, game 1. We'll just go game to game. 15, 25, 18, 16, 14, 21, and then the game 7 on the Boston Celtics floor, 26. And he went 4 for 6 from 3 and played 44 minutes and 49 seconds. He was
you could
19.
argue he was their best player in that series.
Yes.
Which
He
is
made life
crazy.
so easy for Jimmy Butler. He made Jimmy Butler's life easy in that series.
And he will find a way to impact the game if his shot isn't falling more than Highsmith will. But if we're talking about, like I said, trying to keep something that's maybe tradable, because I do think part of what we talked about yesterday is being able to pounce at the deadline when maybe some more trades become available. I think there's a chance that you could get Highsmith on a shorter-term deal, and I think that's a factor as well.
The other piece, just to add on to what the guys were saying, you both mentioned the intangible part of you box out, you allow everybody else to have an opportunity to crash the glass. If not, pick up that floorboard, making it easier for Joel Embiid to also crash the glass. Even Marcus in our chat said, yeah, it's just really simple. Box out your man. And these are things that are lost things in the
Use
NBA
two
right
hands
now.
when you're rebounding is the one that drives me crazy.
Right? Go get him ripped. And that's where you just simplify the game. And if that happens, as these guys have already laid out, then your rebounding will just simply improve. And that will make Joel Embiid that 12 to maybe 14 per game rebounder again. And Tyrese Maxey will get in there from time to time and do the exact thing. The other part that I wanted to bring up, and I'm glad Phil is in here, Phil W. What up, Phil? That I want to talk about Oubre in this case too, because with the switchability of all of those players when they're out there together, we've seen where Kelly can sometimes be overly aggressive. And he'll pick up some fouls and he has to get off the floor. I love the aggressiveness, but when you don't have anybody to follow him to come out there on the floor and pick up where he left off, you're talking about 2 players that are in the starting lineup where it makes the substitution pattern then a little bit easier. And Kelly can gamble from time to time.
And you can absorb the foul trouble a little bit more. If let's say Kelly picks up 3 early fouls, then okay, we got to sit him down for a little bit, but we still have options on the way.
100%. And that's where I like with either Highsmith or Martin in this case, where you lean towards one of them. I'm okay if you picking up fouls if you're taking real gambles of what you believe is a real opportunity for you to get a steal and create an opportunity to turn the basketball over and go the other way for a fast break chance and put some points on the board. You're also going to frustrate the hell out of the other side where you know how it goes. Even with take fouls, we still see some idiotic fouls when you do have that take foul because you're so ticked off. These guys are playing some amoeba style UNLV 1989, 1990 defense on the perimeter and ticking off the other team. That is good. And I like that. So, and Phil says, what foul trouble? Brunson flopping? Guess what? When all-stars get calls, that is foul trouble. You get in foul trouble. So it's just the nature of the business. But you have reinforcements now if it's one of these 2 players. And that's why they both fit, especially financially in Haywood Highsmith. You would hope that now with Paul George here with the recruiting, following on social media, we were all looking at the wives following each other. Now it's the player following a free agent and trying to recruit and come to Philadelphia. You take what you can get. And if you can get that and make that happen and have everybody feeling good about what their overview is of what the 76ers did as a potential free agent, the agent looking at the opportunity, maybe a shorter term deal to get back on the market quicker because of the team's success, then you do it. And these are 2 good players that we're talking about here that could benefit from that.
We all silly like the mayor.